Welcome everyone to the Q&A session for our upcoming course, Ancient Secrets for Clearing Karma, the 9-week journey to discover Kundalini Shakti practices to heal karmic patterns, find true freedom, and awaken bliss. I'm Lisa Bonis, and I'm super excited to be hosting this Q&A conversation for the Shift Network, where we'll explore the teachings of Raja Choudhury and address questions about his upcoming 9-week course, Ancient Secrets Clearing Karma, which begins Tuesday, December 10th. And a little later, I'll explain how you can participate in this course, even if you can't attend the live sessions. But first, I want to introduce our guest. Raja Choudhury is an award-winning documentary filmmaker, TED speaker, and spiritual teacher who aims to disrupt human consciousness and awaken each of us to our true evolutionary potential using his deep knowledge of Kundalini Shakti, Tantra, and Indian wisdom. In the past year, he's emerged as one of the Shift Network's most popular teachers, initiating and guiding over 1,900 students into the mysteries of Kundalini Shakti, Shiva Shakti Tantra, and the third eye. Raj's own shift occurred in 2006 when, while a creative director in New York, he underwent a life-changing Kundalini awakening that rewired his system and opened up a new universe for him. And in just a few minutes, we're going to open up to take your questions. But first, I want to welcome Raja, who's going to begin our call by leading us in an opening invocation. Welcome, Raja. It's great to see you today.
Namaha, Namaha, Namaha. Welcome. Namaha means know me, pure consciousness, everything. I am everything. And I want to ask you to just take a moment to breathe with me. Take a deep breath in. And relax completely. Take a deep breath into your stomach. And let go with a sigh. Again. And just imagine above your head, right here above your head, is a little honey pot of bliss. And in your heart is another honey pot of bliss. And the stream of bliss comes from this pot above your head all the way down to your heart. So above you is this vast consciousness. And let's just chant Om together to bring that consciousness in. And when that consciousness pours in, we hear the sound of Ha in the sound of Hreem. Hreem. And it fills your heart with bliss. And then you turn it around, and when you let go and dissolve back into that vast consciousness from this body, it becomes Shreem. Shreem. Hreem and Shreem, the constant breath of coming in and becoming everything in you, in your body, and Shreem, dissolving back into the vast consciousness. Hreem, Shreem. And then we do the mantra to invoke this dance. And this great dance is called the dance of Shiva and Shakti. Ha is Shiva, Sha is Shakti. Consciousness, energy. The energy in my body dancing with the consciousness of the vast universe around me. And this dance is, we invoke this dance to come into us in this beautiful mantra I'll do with you now. And just feel it coming into you as if it's pouring in from above as I chant it. Om Aim Hreem Shreem Aim Kleem So Hamsa Shiva Soham Saka Frame Hasaksha Malavarya Om Hasom Sahaksha Malavarya Im Saho Sarupana Rupana Hetave Shragunave Shri Annapurnamba Saita Shri Amritanandanata Shri Guru Shri Padukam Pujyami Tarpayami Namaha. We invoke the dance of Shiva and Shakti to pour into me as Hreem and to reunite again with Shiva and Shakti as Shreem. And I invoke all the gurus and all the teachers that have come before, including my teacher in this lineage, Guruji Amritananda, to come and bless us and let us heal our bodies, heal our karma, heal all our trauma, and release ourselves as light as feathers back into the consciousness. Namaha.
All right, Namaha. Thank you, Raja. So we have the rest of our time together to dive into our viewers' questions for Raja as we prepare for his upcoming course. Again, that's called Ancient Secrets for Clearing Karma, and it begins Tuesday, December 10th. And if you want to check out the website, sort of follow along with us and learn more about this 9-week course, you can visit karmaclearingcourse.com to see the full description. So let's go ahead and get into some questions. If you have a question for Raja, just go ahead and type it in, and I'll be happy to read them aloud. In the meantime, I've already got a few questions lined up. And Raja, let me start out with one this is probably the most frequently asked questions because you've taught a few courses already here, and people are wondering, how will this new course compare with what you've taught previously? Perhaps they've taken one of your courses and they want to see, is this repeat material? Should they take something else first? One person's asking, will you be showing us how to awaken our Kundalini in this course? So maybe we can address all of that in one big bundle up front.
Well, let me tell you first about what to expect, because this training we're going to do and this initiation involves the Kundalini, because without awakening, without clearing the Nadi system in the body, the subtle system, without bringing energy in as prana, without turning that energy into Shakti and raising it up the spinal cord, we won't be able to burn our karma the way I want to teach you how to do it. So awakening Kundalini is a very major part, at least in the lower chakras, until we get to the third eye, is very important in this work. So I will be teaching that again. So those that have done awakening your Kundalini or opening your third eye or any of my other work will find that part of it will be very similar to what you've done before. But beyond that, we're going to go into much more detail into the healing aspect of prana, into the details of how to awaken an energy called Chamundaya, and how to use the third eye to direct healing energy into different parts of your body, into your traumas, into all of these things. So I would say that for those who have done Awakening Your Kundalini or any of my other classes, except for the Advanced Kundalini course, you will find a lot of new material here, and you will get a chance to revisit what you already learned and live with me ask questions, fine tune it, and then go deeper and deeper and deeper. So the outcome would be that if you have done any of my previous courses, Awakening Your Kundalini, on demand or live, opening your third eye, or especially the dance of Shiva and Shakti, because we didn't go into Kundalini awakening in the body. You will benefit greatly by doing this work, because we will learn to heal, we will learn to manifest, we will learn to clear ourselves, we will learn to shed our luggage and become free and learn. So we will use that basic training you received and go a deeper step. If you've done the advanced Kundalini work with me, then this will be a kind of revision work for you, and it'll give you an excuse to hang out with me and participate and help others in the group. And it'll also help give you a chance to revisit some of the things you may have missed in the trainings that we have done, especially with prana, Chamundaya, Shakti, the Mahavidyas, the third eye, and bring it all together. So I think that everyone will benefit at some level, but definitely those who have done Awakening Your Kundalini or nothing at all, or opening your third eye, will be able to evolve with this course greatly.
Okay, great. I think that's a good place to start. And let's take one more question about Kundalini awakening before we move on, because a lot of people wonder about this. Kat is asking, how do we prepare for Kundalini awakening? I've heard it can be intense.
So, I mean, what Lisa said earlier is very important, is that I have been doing this work in a very graceful, gentle, and step by step way for 2 years, on 1.5 years on the Shift Network, and many years before that here in my own work that I do in workshops. And the approach we take is from the Sri Vidya and Kriya traditions. So even though we are awakening these immense energies in us, we're going to take it gradually from earth to heaven. So we're starting by grounding ourselves and learning how to ground ourselves, to heal our fears, our urges, our needs, and then we're going to awaken this energy in us gradually. So by the time you get to a point where Kundalini Shakti starts to wake up in you, you will have already received enough training to deal with the prana movements, the what they call the Kundalini syndrome effects, and I will teach you how to manage those and deal with them. See, Kundalini awakening is misunderstood because many people believe it is the swirling of serpent like energies through your nadis up and over your head and creating all kinds of chaos in you, and you go into heat and shaking and all kinds of things happen. Now that happens when you haven't trained yourself in how to deal with prana, because the first stage of Kundalini awakening is called prana Kundalini, which is this kind of swirling energies and tingling we feel in the head and a movement above your neck. And that's really just the nadis, the energy circuits working. Those are early stages of Kundalini awakening. The real Kundalini awakening occurs when all of those balance, all the padmas, the chakras all balance. And once they're balanced, a very subtle energy begins to rise up the middle of your spinal cord along a nadi called the Shushumna. And that's the beginning of real Kundalini awakening. So if anybody says, oh my God, I've had the swirling dance of serpents and I've had somebody touched me and I had an awakening, that's prana Kundalini. That's not the real Kundalini awakening. We will learn how to use prana to get rid of our karma, to heal our traumas, to heal our diseases, heal our suffering. But we're going to then also, in the 9 sessions, look at how to wake up Chit Kundalini, the subtle Kundalini. And then by the end of the course, I'll teach you about Para Kundalini, which is the subtle dissolution into the vast consciousness of Shiva Shakti and the dance of the universe. So you're going to have a full training in Kundalini, but you're going to learn to use that energy to not only get rid of your bad karma, release good karma, but also get rid of traumas, diseases, suffering, all the things that are blocking you, so that your system clears up in the 9 weeks into an opening to become light as a feather.
Okay, great. Thank you. Let's move into the subject of clearing karma. There's a question here from Laura, who I realize that your course is going to answer the first question, but I'll go ahead and read it out. She wants to know, how do I clear a karmic pattern permanently? And can a karmic pattern return once it's cleared?
So the best way to think about it is to look at how the brain works. Because when we look at the sciences of positive psychology or the neuroscience of how new patterns form in the brain, we find that, and there's been a lot of recent work done at Stanford and MIT and at Imperial College in London on how long does it take for a pattern to rewire in the brain. And what we find is that all tendencies, all neural connectivities that give us a habit, like a bad habit of a karmic trauma that keeps coming back, or a sense of repetition of the same mistakes over and over again, or a habit like smoking or drinking that just we can't get rid of because it's filling a void in us that we can't fill, which is really what karma is all about. That we need to rewire the system. Now, that does not mean that we're going to burn the wiring of the previous habit completely. That can never happen. But what we do is we introduce new pathways, new habits, new ideas that begin to alter the brain chemistry. And they found that this takes about 66 days to completely create a new synaptic pathway. Now, making that assumption, in the old days in the tantric teaching, they used to say 44 days of doing a mantra or doing a breathing will heal one karmic passage and create a new one. So that, let's say you've got a bad habit and you want to get rid of it, if you do it for 44 days straight, you create a new pathway, and the old pathway that asked you to have a cigarette or eat some rubbish or do something for yourself or desire something begins to diminish. And if that diminishing occurs, what happens is that you replace it with concepts, with ideas, with mantras, with breathing patterns, and that creates a new pathway. And when that new pathway comes into action, the old becomes suppressed. It doesn't go away, but it becomes low in its volume and ability to chatter in your upper brain or in your biology. And if that happens, we are losing the grip of that karmic element there completely, and we start to become free of it. Now, that does not mean that that desire or that longing goes away completely. But what happens is we learn, especially in the tantric work, to befriend it, to treat it like a friend and say, I see you, I know you, but now I've introduced new thinking and new breathing that changes my life. So I see you, I acknowledge you, but you're not going to be able to affect me like you used to. And a whole new language begins to occur. This is how we'll work on this.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Let's get into some more detail about karma. I know that you did explain what you mean by karma because there's a lot of different understandings of it in your conversation with Stephen. Um, so let's talk about some details. Like Todd wants to know, does this work help with energy healing of physical ailments? And if so, can we expect to achieve some mastery in this if we apply your teaching?
So as I said, that if one begins to tune into new concepts and new wiring and new vibrations and new frequencies, the body starts to change. Whether you do it with the Kundalini Shakti or through contemplation or through breath or through mantra, you will find that a new alignment starts to occur. Now, let's look at, as I mentioned in the dialogue with Stephen, let's look at it once again, that what really is karma. And what we found was that even though the word karma means action, and and we understand it to mean the consequences of our thoughts, our words, our actions, the root of karma, the creation of karma, comes from what we described as, what I described in the dialogue as desire. Now, think of it from your youngest days, everything you have desired, if you did not get it, a residual memory comes into you, whether it's a trauma, whether, and that could be as simple as desiring love or desiring a relationship or desiring something or having shortage of money or being traumatized by somebody else. It could be any of those things. Now, once that desire is incomplete, we have created karma. Now, if it's incomplete and dissatisfactory, it becomes bad karma. It becomes accrues in us as a kind of cellular trauma that we're storing in every cell in our body, especially in the stomach area, especially down here in this reptilian brain part of our body. Now, the more we store it, the more prone we become to disease and dysfunction and hormonal shifts and imbalance of your endocrine system, and you start getting ill. So your immunity drops, you become susceptible to stomach issues or liver issues or sugar issues, or you become susceptible to bad habits. You need painkillers, you need sugar, you need money, tobacco, nicotine. You start needing to want to fill this hole of desire that has been left a vacant, large gap in your life. So the whole tantric teaching says that there are two parts to this healing process, whether it is karma shedding or trauma and disease shedding, both work, by the way, is that if I train myself to have two perspectives, one is the perspective that I am a vibrating higher consciousness and I've forgotten. I am that dance of Shiva Shakti. I am the universal mind. I am the mind, the vibrating perfect me in the Akasha around me. I am that, but I've forgotten and I need to reconnect with that. Then I begin a journey upwards of ascension to connect to that. And it's an upward journey because we're going from our earth element to our light element vibrating at the speed of light. So we want to go upwards from earth through the elements, through our body, through our sacred way of moving up, and we get clear. The other part of it is that if I am able to clear these passages and bring in this grace and divine energy into me, then something miraculous happen. I can send that energy from my third eye down into my heart and then heal myself, heal others. I can not only get rid of old traumas, but I can heal myself. I can begin to become a healthier, more balanced, more equal person. And this is the consequence of that door opening that occurs of ascension. So we try to ascend and we light a fire along the way. We go element by element through the body, and then grace descends into us. And a wonderful meeting occurs at the heart between this kind of will I had to get up there and to become clear, and grace descending and meeting at my heart. And then I can distribute that energy to heal not only all my karma and get rid of it, but to heal myself, to heal others, and to become a real pillar of light in the world so that the world starts healing because of my awakening. This is the whole work we do.
All right. Wow. Thank you. And for those of you who are just joining us, we're here with Raja Choudhury, learning about his upcoming course, Ancient Secrets for Clearing Karma, which begins Tuesday, December 10th. And you can log on to karmaclearingcourse.com for all the details and to register. Let's go ahead and get back into questions. They're pouring in. A lot of people want to ask about karma. Here's one from Diane who says, is clearing karma the same as not doing what you're here to complete on a soul level?
So this is let us think of it a different way. What we consider to be the soul in the tantric philosophy is called the Jiva Atma. It sits in your heart center in this thing called the honey pot of bliss in your heart. The literal translation is Hridaya. Hridaya means the honey pot of bliss. This bliss pearl in your heart, this little pot of bliss, at its core is your jiva, your soul that is traveling with you, the immortal essence in you that is traveling with you in this body and connecting you directly to the immortal essence of the entire universal mind. So this little jiva here and that ultimate Paramatma, Param Jiva, the Jiva of the mind of the whole universe, the body of Shiva that we are in, of Shiva and Shakti, or the womb of the mother we are in, this disconnection between this heart center and that full vibrating perfect universe that you are but you've forgotten is considered to be covered by veils or sheets of illusion or maya. Now these veils are like in certain traditions, yoga and Vedanta, these are considered to be illusions. These are veils that we need to get past and get into full blending of the full awakening. But in Tantra, these veils are in the body, and we accept that this wonderful energy, this wonderful grace is in every cell of our body. This knowledge is in every cell of my body, is in every part of me. It can be achieved through awakening. So I need to get this cloaked, veiled Jeev Atma sitting in the middle of my heart, which is covered with all these clouds, slowly to peel them away to remember who I am. Now, if I can do that, this whole work of the soul's purpose in life starts to vibrate and become clearer for you. So that means that the more, we talk about decalcifying the pineal gland and opening the third eye, that is just to see the guiding light of grace coming into you. But to actually open your heart like a 12-petal lotus opening fully is the entire work. And when that opening of the heart occurs, your entire soul purpose becomes clear to you. And this then becomes your clarity of where you're supposed to go, what you're supposed to do, starts to become guided by a grace descending into you and pouring out of you through the heart. So yes, you do discover your soul purpose, but only after you've healed your body, opened your heart, allowed the light to come in from above, and then a vision, a clarity comes as to what you're about and what this Jeev Atma is trying to do, once would love to see happen. That's how it works.
Okay, makes a lot of sense. But we still got some people that are still sort of struggling with the basic meaning of karma. Like, for example, here's one that asks, why do some people suffer and others seem to get away with anything? I know people who are good at heart but keep struggling.
So the problem is that we tend to equate being good with being karma free, but that's not the case. Let's ask ourselves what karma free would look like, right? So that means somebody who has no attachments in the world, no property, no nothing, is happy and bliss filled all the time, equal all the time. One looks at somebody like that, maybe like a Buddhist monk sitting somewhere in peace in the monastery somewhere, and not needing anything, perfectly in bliss, eating whenever something is given to them, perfectly at bliss, glowing at complete bliss, living in bliss as a kind of karma free state. You're looking at that and say that person appears to be light as a feather and karma free. Now, the person who is, when we are born, we come into this world. In this consciousness, we're karma free, but we come with the karma of our genes, we come with the karma of our ancestors, we come with the karma of Akasha, of the past Jiva memories of this past life of this we're bringing into this being. Now, what does that do for us? That it creates a vibratory element that already starts with luggage, but then accrues luggage as you go through your life. So all the desires you didn't get start becoming karma. All the bad things you said and did become karma. And then the good things you did also become good karma. Now, the tantric says, if you focus only on whether your karma was clear and that person's karma, why did they get all the benefit and the perks and you got nothing, even though you were trying to be such a good person in your life, you're missing the whole point. What Tantra says is that, look, you have forgotten who you really are. So the avidya, the lack of knowledge of remembering that you are a spiritual giant, is holding you back by giving you this illusion of karmic bad luck that you're holding on to. So you got to cut that knot. You got to cut it and say, I am not going to be held back by the perception of all the things that I've accrued in my ancestry, in my past lives, and in this life. I'm going to cut it. And if I cut it, and this is where the goddess Chamundaya comes in, is that Chamundaya says, and this is the beautiful tantric teaching of Shakti worship, where we say that Chamundaya is like the goddess, the fierce goddess that sits in your belly. And she's an energy. She's not a goddess, she's an energy. And she is energy that is in this body, in the akasha around you, and at the source as well, in 3 levels. Now, if I turn on a switch here to bring Chamundaya into my life, and a switch turns on in the akashic area of prana, the pranamaya kosha, my mind, my mental body, and it turns on at the source, a new energy starts to flow into me that says, you know what? Everything that you thought was your bad luck, your bad karma, your bad trauma, I'm going to cut away. And how does it do it? It cuts away by cutting 2 demonic aspects in your nature, which cause you to forget who you really are. One is called Chanda and the other is called Munda. Chanda is that chattering brain, the neocortex, that's always judging you and comparing you and telling you all the things that you're not or couldn't be, or what you failed to do, or how bad you are at relationships, or whatever you are. Chanda is this chattering brain always talking to you, the perpetual voice in your head. And Munda is the headless beast of your body, your desires, your hungers, your food. Every time you want to compensate for a lack in you, you try and fill it with food or tobacco or sex or whatever you're trying to fill it with. Now, what Chamundaya does, which is the magic of the mantra of Chamundaya, Aim, Reem, Kleem, Chamundaya Vijay, is that she cuts off the head of Chanda. That's why Kali is carrying a mattress and cutting off heads. And she cuts off the body. And once she does that, the headless body that's controlling your reptilian brain, something, the heart begins to open, the midbrain, the limbic region of your brain, the pineal gland, this area here that connects directly to the heart. And once that opens, all those karmic luggage that you carry, that includes comparing yourself to somebody else's good fortune versus your bad fortune, begin to fall away. And a freedom comes that is revealing to you your true nature as a jiva, an immortal soul traveling in this body, having all these experiences, going through all this illusory pain, comparing yourself to everybody else, forgetting that you are really everything and everyone, but you're playing this game, and then you open up. Once that happens, a release happens, and karma begins to less hold on you. You become as light as a feather, and after a while, you realize that karma is just the consequences of my next thought, of my next word, of my next action. So I become an observer of that. And then I only do things, and after a while it becomes magical. I only do things that magically improve my karmic condition. And even then, after a while, I get rid of that desire to improve my karmic condition, and I have no karma at all. I become karma free. Because remember that if you want good karma, there's still an I involved going, I am a spiritual person, I am godlike, I am this, I am, I am holier than those rich people who have made all that money, even though their karma is so bad. I am better than all those people. The I factor disappears. And that I is the biggest problem of most people who look at karma and say, well, why does that child have bad luck and that person have, not that evil person have all that good fortune? Because you're missing the whole point, is that the child that comes with bad karma, that comes with ancestral legacy, that comes with disease and suffering, is not responsible for the karma it is creating in this life. It has come with that, and it will suffer and it will die, but that jiva will continue on. But you, as a conscious human being, can clear your karma and become free of those envies and attachments that make you hold back who you really are.
Okay, lots to think about there. Thank you. We've got a question here. Actually, we've got several questions from Alice. Her husband is very
I want to say
ill.
one.
Uh,
I want to say one thing. I want to say one
Go ahead.
thing, which is that the whole purpose, the problem with the Hindu ancient Indian idea of karma karma goes back to 6th century BC at least, um, of this samsara, of reincarnation, of accrued karma, this life, past lives, ancestral. The problem is that human beings get so caught up in that idea that they forget to try and liberate themselves while in this life. And the whole purpose of Tantra, of Kundalini awakening, of burning your bad karma, is liberation is possible in this life. That can I come to the end of my life feeling as light as a feather, with no regrets, with no longings, with no desperate desires to fulfill some hole that I've created in my life or had before. Can I do that? And the tantrics say you can do that right here, right now, and wake up and invoke that energy to wake up. And if you wake up, you will become as light as a feather. Then you go through life observing and dancing with that dance between that speed of light you and that earth like you, dancing between the two.
Okay, wow, thank you for adding that. As I was starting to say, Alice, she's sending in a lot of questions. Her husband is very ill. I won't read all of the questions, but it sort of boils down to she says, "This lady wished my husband bad karma, and since then he's gotten very ill. How can I help him heal?"
See, when we study this work, we realize that everything that happens to us is a reaction in us. And the tantric Shakti concept of Shakti, of the female energies in our body, describe many energies that can protect you, that can heal you, that can block others from injuring you, and in India there's a lot of belief of using those energies to hurt other people, to curse them, or to work with that. What happens is that if you, and I don't mean your husband, you become a Shakti, become a living energy being, become strong, become open in the 6 centers of your body, become vital, become free of all the beliefs and crutches that hold human beings back from who they are. If you become that, you will naturally protect everything and everyone around you. Your family will heal. Your energy in the house will change. And remember that all negative karmic reaction is occurring inside the person suffering. That means they are, even though somebody might curse you, it is happening in you. Your response to that curse, your beliefs, your structures start to drop your immunity, start to affect you, start to work with you. So what we've got to do is introduce you to these Shaktis so that you can get rid of that energy in you first, then in your house and your family, and then protect that by giving an extended Shakti energy around you, kind of magical force field that will protect your family. Now, curses are not powerful because of the energy of the other person alone. They are powerful because of the weakness in me to not be able to deal with that curse. That means I have to be equally alchemical, equally a magician, equally a wizard or a witch to turn around that energy and send it back and shield my family from it. So, this I will teach how to do also.
All right, great, thank you. Looking at the clock here, we have time for a few more questions, but before we take those, I want to give a few details about the course itself because people are asking about that as well. Once again, it's called Ancient Secrets for Clearing Karma, and this is going to be an absolutely life-changing 9-week journey under Raj's expert guidance where you'll burn your inner fire to heal yourself, ancestral legacies, and all your past karmic lives, and allow power and grace to pour into your life. And the 9-week course takes place on Tuesdays at 10 a.m. Pacific time, starting Tuesday, December 10th. And if you can't join us live, that's fine. You won't miss the teachings. You will receive audio and video recordings, transcripts, And all course handouts are on your course homepage. Also, I'd like to remind everyone that we offer a no risk money back guarantee on our courses, this time giving you until January 7th to make sure that you absolutely love it. And as an added option, all participants are welcome to connect in a private Facebook community group so you can stay connected with one another and communicate with Raja between classes. Also, everyone who registers receives the Ancient Secrets for Clearing Karma bonus collection. First, you'll receive a video teaching from Raja entitled The Dance of Shiva and Shakti, the Sacred Origins of Hatha Yoga and Tantra. Next, you'll get a video meditation from Raja called Earth to Skywalker, a 30-minute Kundalini and Third Eye Awakening meditation. And then you'll receive a film by Raja entitled Yoga, Harmony with Nature. And when you register by midnight Pacific on Tuesday, December 3rd, you'll receive this extra gift, and that is a video dialogue with Raja entitled Karma Kundalini and the Essence of Ancestral Healing. All right, so before we get back into questions, Raja, let me ask you, what are you most looking forward to sharing in this new course? This is brand new for you, isn't it?
It is, because it came out of the work we've been doing in Awakening Your Kundalini and in the advanced program I've been teaching on the Shift Network. It came out of the huge magical benefit we saw people undergoing when they were practicing these mantras and they were doing this particular types of breathing that I teach. A kind of magical energy started to occur, and Lisa can attest to this because she's been involved in a lot of my classes, that people started to see benefits that were unplanned, like suddenly energies changed. People started getting more attracted to you. You were able to walk in nature and animals were drawn to you. All these things start to happen, and not only that, you were able to influence situations by magically energizing yourself, going out into the world, and then the world responding to that magic. So, what we discovered, and I've known this for my own practice, but to see it happen in lives of other people through my work that we do in this teaching, was that magic started to happen in people's lives. And this is very important to understand, that this is not some psychological healing I'm offering, not only. This is magic. Magic of using breath and mantras and visualization to create new realities in your body, to treat your body as a sacred temple, and then to discover magic all around you, to see magic in nature, to see magic in the people you work with, your relationships. Magic will start to happen in every part of your life. And I can promise you, if you read some of the testimonials and look at some of the people that have worked with me, hundreds are still there with me on this journey, is that magic starts to come into your life. And all I want to do is I'm going to show you step by step over these 9 classes how to become magical beings of wellness, healing, freedom, and vitality, and this new energy turning up in you that changes your life. This is what I want to show you.
All right. Yes, and I absolutely can attest that there's been some remarkable things that happen in Raj's courses. Plus, he's just fun to hang around with. So there's that too. Let's go ahead and get back into the questions here. We've got so many questions and so many people. Even though you've already touched on this, there's so many aspects of physical health and karma. So let's just keep pounding away at it here. Estelle wants to know, when you get really sick, how can you tell if the reason is karmic or not?
It's not, the power of Shakti healing, of pranic healing, of working with your body is not so much whether or not you can accuse the cells or the cancer or the pain of its source. That is a moot practice, because all that does is create a new demon for you to fight in your life. No, the way you approach it is to look at the pain, the suffering, the cells, the issues that you're dealing with, the cancer, the whatever is troubling you, the headache, the addiction, the suffering, all of that as a object that you have to work with. Because if I teach you that I can increase your energy by 30%, 40%, 100% to make you much more energetic, if I can teach you how to use your third eye and your heart to direct that energy into parts of you, if I could teach you how to increase your vitality and your well-being and your all the glands that work through the endocrine system, and I can teach you how to balance them with mantra and sound and healing. Now what happens is that there's a wonderful teaching in Tantra that says that if I have a pain at one point in my body, let's say I pinch my hand, you can pinch your hand, there's an entire sequence of events that occur that take the pain from that pinch all the way to my brain and discover it as pain and suffering. Now, in Tantra, they say that if I just focus my mind, this is in the Vigyan Payara Tantra, that if I focus my mind on one spot, the pain, where my pain is, and I only pinch there, and I look at that pain and go into the pain just in that area where I am, the pain does not have as much effect on the rest of my body or my head as it did before I let it just flow. Something magical starts to happen. I localize my focus onto that area that is suffering. Now, if I can then, through my prana, increase my fire, inner tejas, my fire inside, direct it with my intention of my third eye, and through my heart and the 72,000 gateways in my heart, send the healing energy to that one point. I surround it with light and grace and healing, whether it is for chemotherapy, whether it is for whatever I've got. You will find that this goes beyond placebo. This goes into healing at 50, 60, 70%. That means that healing does not mean that the cancer is getting cured. It means that the cells around it get vitalized. Your pain threshold increases. So you detach from the obsession with the suffering that you're going through, whether it is in chemotherapy or pain in your body. You're going through this, you become an observer of the pain because you have learned through breathing and observation to look at it differently. Now, this applies to karma. This applies to somebody saying mean things to you. This applies to somebody being horrible to you and playing the same old record that was always hurt you, that karmic needle that they've been prodding at you. And you pull back, you detach yourself, you observe it, and something magical happens. You become an observer and rather than a participant in the drama. And then you can send healing. That's how healing works in this work.
All right, great. Thank you. Now we've got a question here from Karen. I'm sure she's not the only one that has to say this. Karen says, I am so new. I've never done meditation with any real success, no real exposure to yoga. Is this too advanced for me?
See, when I work with you, I want you to feel like I feel. I feel grace all the time. I feel the bliss of that heart opening all the time. I feel a loving embrace of a divine energy around me all the time. Even if I have a bad day or I'm suffering with something or whatever happens, I feel immense love in everything that's coming into my life. Now, I can teach you how to experience that bliss, that love, that healing. And I don't care whether you've done 20 years of Kundalini yoga or Reiki or yoga, it doesn't matter. Or you're just coming to this yesterday. The secret to really learning this stuff is to empty your vessel and come like an empty pot to receive new ideas and grace and let it pour into you. I don't believe in meditation and mindfulness, and I don't think that's the answer to life's problems. I think we need to be open to magic, and magic has to come in when I am open to it. So my entire work is to teach you to be open to magic, and that's just what I'll show you how to do. So I don't care whether you're a yogi or a beginner or 75 years old or 25 years old. It doesn't matter. We will all come to the same ground. We will all open our hearts together, and then we'll see what comes in. So you have to work with me. And all the people that have worked with me before will tell you that this journey into heart opening is what I'm all about. So let me show you that. Come, we'll do it together.
All right, great. Thank you for that response. And I think that's probably a good way to close out here. I want to thank our viewers for being with us today and for all of your really great questions. Once again, Ancient Secrets for Clearing Karma starts Tuesday, December 10th. And again, you can visit karmaclearingcourse.com to learn more and to register. So before we cut you loose, Raja, what are your final words?
You know, one thing that I take my service to you very seriously. That means that you will find me active on the Facebook group every day. You will find me available. We'll even try and do breakout rooms so you can talk to me after the class. There's the Q&A is some of our most favorite parts of our classes. So normally I teach for an hour, then we do about half an hour to 40 minutes of Q&A, then I do some guided meditations. And then that normally takes us about 2 hours. And then if you're open to it, we'll do maybe 3 or more breakout rooms where we'll meet afterwards, and you'll get to hang out with me for an hour and meet each other and talk to each other. So we form a community together. We're doing this right now in one of the courses I'm teaching, and I've always done this. And I'm also very active on Facebook. I'm available to you. I do answer emails, and I want you to feel cared for and supported in this journey, because this is life-changing stuff. And if I can't support you on that journey, then I'm failing in my duty as a coach, teacher, trainer, in the Kaula tradition, guru, whatever you want to call me. I don't care. The names are irrelevant. You have to wake up. I want you to wake up. And so I will help you in every way I can along the way. So you have to come, open your heart, and let me help you step by step find this incredible journey to being light as a feather, opening up these energies and finding bliss in yourself. So it's a quite a wild ride, and I think you will enjoy it. So do come, and we'll do it together. Namaha.
Right. Thank you again, Raja. It's always a pleasure speaking with you today. Thank you for being here with us, and Namaha back. All right. Well, once again, thank you to everyone who joined us today. On behalf of all of us at the Shift Network, I wish you well and look forward to having you on this course or perhaps another one in the future. Have a great day, everyone.